Okay, time for my fourth tarantula update. First thing I'm going to show you is the Texas centipede that I got. I actually got this herping, so it's straight out in the wild. Still a baby, as you can see, probably like an inch and a half, 2 inches maybe. There's a little fruit in there, but that's for the roaches. It's eating roaches and baby crickets. It's already eaten from me a few times, and I just misted it, keeping it in a pill-sized container. And simple as that. Doing very well. What I have next is my millipede, Texas millipede. Caught this in the wild as well. That one's actually eating raw fruits and stuff like that. Just fed it a banana yesterday. Not really interested in the cranberries, but I accidentally put too much calcium powder in there. That's what you see a lot of, and I misted it. So it's eating through the dirt, and it'll get enough calcium and veggies when it needs to. Same little container um, as the other one. Now, what you see here is a new tarantula, is the Cyclosternum fasciatum, the Costa Rican tiger rump, I believe is what it's called in regular terms. Keep in a little deli cup like this with holes. Very cool tarantula. What you see next is going to be actual Therodad species. It's the Steatoda triangulosa. I just turned the pill jar upside down so you could see it moving. But it's plump because I fed it a roach, and it's not gravid or anything, just very plump, very neat little spider. The next thing I'm going to show you is my black widow spider. This actually is a true black widow, not a false black widow like the one you just saw before. And just keep it in this container. It's webbed up everything, but during feeding I have to turn the pill jar upside down and it goes to the top and then I feed it. This was actually given to me by a good friend of mine, a great tarantula breeder named John Slaughter. Um, and I believe that this female is actually gravid. I've been feeding it very, very small quantities of insects. I've only been feeding it like one pinhead cricket. I thought I was getting very bloated, but it is in fact appears to be gravid. I'm putting the light towards it. The abdomen shines a bright yellow, orangish glow. So if it's gravid, hey, I guess I got more. But of course, I'm probably going to hand them over to somebody who's more experienced, take care of them, or I'll take care of the slings. Now, what you see in this pill container is going to be the Aphonopelma spinipes, the Aphonopelma sp New River. Nothing's really changed from there. Hasn't grown or anything. Still eating, but slow grower. The next one I'm going to show you is one that does grow a lot, molts a lot too. The Brachypelma albopilosum, known as the Honduran and curly hair tarantula, I believe. Pretty cool specimen. Grows to a fairly good amount. It's growing fast for a Brachypelma, and pretty much going into pre-molt now, keeping in the same little deli cup. Next I'm going to show you my green bottle blue tarantula sling, the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. I have an adult that I'm going to show you later, but right now I'm just keeping this in a little enclosure that I got from the container store. It webs up a lot, and you can see the little holes I drill at the bottom to keep the soil from getting mold, but very cool little tarantula. What you see next is the top part of the abdomen of my P. arminia. The I believe they call it the Venezuelan sun tiger, and it's a pretty cool tarantula. I keep it in the same kind of container from the container store that I made holes in and modified it on my own. You can't see it very well. I don't want to take off the top because this is a very fast tarantula. Really, for intermediate hobbyists, very cool tarantula though. When it becomes an adult, it's going to look striking. The next one is, of course, one of the most beautiful tarantulas in the hobby. It's still a sling with a very, very huge abdomen. It's going to go into molt soon. This is a P. metallica. You can already see the beautiful blue colors and yellow warning bands on it. It's a very skittish tarantula compared to like my P. regalis, but a very awesome sling. It's already getting its colors. I'm hoping it's a female because the book lungs are pretty far away. This was also, I got this from John Slaughter as well, but it's already gotten some colors. You can see the yellow warning bands on it. So hopefully it's a female. If it's a male, I'll hopefully do a 50-50 trade-off to try to breed. The next one is going to be my T. blondie. These are known to be the world's largest tarantulas. Mine is still a sling, a little baby, but these do get to about a 12-inch leg span. Um, it's pretty cool. They're known as the Goliath bird-eating tarantula, and right now she's doing very well in this little container, a larger deli cup. But yeah, chowing down every time I offer her a roach or cricket. The next one is going to be the white striped bird eater, known as the Nando chromatus. Recent name change from the Lasiodora, um, but it's pretty cool tarantula. Right now she's just laying back. She's really huge, so I'm gonna switch her diet from roaches back down to crickets. She probably is due for a molt soon too. The next one I have is not available for a molt soon because he just molted. It's my Mexican fire leg, the Brachypelma bomi. Very neat tarantula also. Um, Very active tarantula. Grows at a good pace actually. I heard there were slow growers. This one grows very good. And just a little container shoebox from the container store that I made holes in for ventilation. Um, Onto our boreals, I have my avicularias. Um, this one here is strikingly beautiful. Both my avicularias have molted around the same time. You can see the colors are fantastic. Very docile tarantulas, never bite. Keep them in this parrot food container that I made holes in. I have my other tarantula in the other container, and I'm going to show you that one too. A very neat tarantula. This is my other avicularia that was next to the one that we just saw. This one's a little bit more bulky, a little bigger. Again, these are very neat tarantulas, nothing much new to say about it. But if you don't have one of these in your collection, you definitely need one. Now, on for a more advanced arboreal, not really one to handle, would be the P. regalis. My P. regalis is still a small size. Very, very nice regalis though. Not skittish, very slow moving, not aggressive whatsoever. And let me show you the underside. You can see the yellow warning bands on it. Doesn't have the regalis infamous band on it yet. And if anybody knows what sex this possibly is, I'm hoping, of course, everybody hopes they have a female tarantula. This probably is going to be a male, but can't really tell from the sexing on this way. I need to wait for a good molt. Usually they molt whenever I'm at work. I come back and they tear it apart. Another advanced arboreal, semi-arboreal actually, would be the orange baboon tarantula. Very great webbers, very aggressive attitude. These do not like to be messed with whatsoever. Their venom is not too potent, but it is very irritating because these guys will bite on it almost any time. Not all of them, but majority of them are very aggressive. However, they have a beautiful pattern on it. I'm just keeping in this little critter tank because it's still a small size, but it's a very neat tarantula. Another common tarantula for you to pick up if you don't have one is of course going to be the Grammostola rosea. This actually is in fact a Grammostola porturi, I believe is how you say it, or porteri. It was a recent specimen name change. I have two of these actually. This one's in a critter care. They like it fairly dry with some water. Now this is my other Grammostola porturi. And I keep this in a larger shoebox container. It's actually smaller than the other one, but I didn't have an empty critter keeper or critter cage, so I'm just putting in this. I like to use these shoebox containers for larger tarantulas. I need to put more water in the water dish, but I didn't have anywhere else to put it, like I said, so I put it in this one. Now this is going to be one of the neat tarantulas in the hobby, still one of the newest, the Pamphobeteus spinipes, the Columbia. This is the 4th genus, kind of rare to the hobby, so I can't wait to breed it. Looks a lot like the Ornatus from the Pamphobeteus species. Very beautiful tarantula. It's not aggressive at all, but you just have to watch the temperament if you want to handle. It uses all of the decor. I mean, it climbs everywhere, very active, eats great. Beautiful colors on it, nice markings on the cephalothorax, the carapace, beautiful tarantula. Another tarantula that's looks pretty nice, especially after it molts. Right now it's due for a molt big time. The Phonopelma seemani, very great for a beginner. This one is very nervous and skittish, but docile. It doesn't bite, never even puts up a threat display. I've handled this one a few times. And I just keep it in the regular critter area. This is one that I do give a hide to because it does use the hide a lot. Most beautiful tarantula color-wise in my collection is going to be the adult green bottle blue. the Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens. And striking, look at that. Orange abdomen, blue metallic legs, green carapace, beautiful tarantula. This one does kick hair quite a bit to me. Doesn't ever bite or get in defense display, but it's very fast. But a very beautiful tarantula. It webs up the entire enclosure very fast. And no matter what it does, it's always out. It never hides. Even when it hides, it builds these tunnels where you could still see the inside of this container that I got from the container store. And you can easily modify it with holes for ventilation. But like I said, very beautiful tarantula. Definitely, if you have the money to spend, get one of these, or if you want to save money, get a sling. This is one that I got from the wild. Here from Texas, we can get a lot of wild tarantulas. This is an Aphonopelma hensey, known as the Texas brown or Oklahoma brown or Texas tan, I believe. Different colors of brown, very docile tarantula, very slow moving, not aggressive, probably the perfect beginner tea to get, besides like a Chaco or a Graumostola. But these are very beautiful tarantulas, very underrated. They like it pretty dry, pretty much Texas weather. But yeah, I definitely love this tarantula. This was given to me from wild caught by my cousin. And I keep it in one of these Glad containers. You can get them for like 99 cents. Make holes on the top. You can make holes on the side to allow the soil to ventilate so it doesn't get any mold. And still, it's a perfect size. It's kind of large, and you can get them for like 99 cents. And if you look on the inside, you see there's like 2 or 3 inches of soil for them to burrow, and you can still see they still have a lot of room for the top to move around, room for decor in the back, and water dish and everything. So if you're on a budget, you can get one of these little enclosures too. One of my second largest tarantula in my collection is going to be the Laciodora parahybana, the Brazilian salmon pink bird eater. I put these little stones in the water dish so they don't fall in or anything like that or get too wet. But this is a very large tarantula. It doesn't look big, but she's topping about 7 inches right now. It is a female, and she's due for a molt, so I can't wait for that. She's going to look very beautiful. The largest tarantula I have in my collection is the Graumostola pulchrips, also previously known as the Graumostola aristrata. We call it the Chaco golden knee as well. As you can observe by the golden knees, very plump, very huge female. Definitely my favorite. She's about, see, she makes a mess of her enclosure no matter what I do to it. She's always roaming around. Very great tarantula. Have to keep a big water dish. She's about 9 to 10 inches right now, leg span, so she's huge. She's a monster, but the most docile tarantula I have in my collection. I'll let this one climb all over me, on my face, on my hands. The best tarantula I have, best for beginners. But she's definitely my favorite in my collection because she was my first one, so on. So she's doing great. Next in my invertebrate collection, I'm going to show you I didn't just show you tarantulas, I showed you centipede, millipede, now scorpion. If you've seen my videos before, you know I had this emperor scorpion. It's molted a few months ago. It's ready again for another molt. I've given it roaches, crickets, mealworms, things like that. It always munches them down, but the last month it hasn't gotten any of them. It's still maintaining weight. I'm not sure if it's on a feeding strike or if it's due for a molt, but it definitely is big enough for a molt. You see the big old stinger, doesn't hardly ever use it. It really pinches more than likely anything. Very docile. You should just pick it up from the from the stinger, put it on my hand, and it walks. It does pinch sometimes, but it's not too bad. But yeah, I keep the substrate fairly moist. Definitely a neat little arachnid to keep in the collection. And yeah, I don't know what else to say besides if you don't have an emperor scorpion, you should have at least one. Just really great little critters to admire. They're very underrated in the hobby. They do have a lot of little personality too. Keep it in the same container as the 99 cents Glad container, the other one that you can get at the dollar store. Holes on the side for ventilation. You see there's plenty of room. There's about 3 inches full of substrate to keep humidity and everything. See there's plenty of room in there. You see the stingers up, water dish in the back. So it's perfect enclosure for like $1. You know, if you want to save on some money or just you have a lot of them you need to stack up. But thanks everyone for watching my tarantula update number 4, and just keep watching if you want to see any more updates.